are back with the next session in our look at or at least some of the greatest games of all time, some of the games that are considered the greatest of all time. Today we are going to start with Combat, a game that came out in 1977, and look at via the Atari 50, and go from there. We'll, as we did before, we'll look at the history leading up to it, and then play the game, and then instead of continuing arcade origins where we spent time with Pong and Breakout last time, we're going to be going to Birth of the Console, because that's where Combat is. So yeah, let's get into it. The arcade comes home. Today, well over 90% of American homes have at least one computer, and they've changed our lives forever. For millions, the first computer in their home was an Atari video computer system. Dedicated consoles, 1977. In addition to a home version of Pong, Atari released dedicated consoles that played versions of its video pinball and stunt cycle arcade games. But clones were quickly catching up, and the company knew it needed a product that played more than just one game if it wanted to earn a permanent spot in the world's living rooms. Video computer system. In September 1977, Atari launched the video computer system, later known as the 2600. It was part of a new wave of game consoles which had no games built in, but stored them separately on ROM cartridges. Technological superiority didn't come cheap. The VCS launched at $199, or about $950 in 2022 dollars. What's a VCS? In this video feature, legendary Atari VCS programmers Howard Scott Warshaw and David Crane described the impact of the Atari video computer system in their own words.
On the simplest level, what the VCS, the Atari 2600, what that is, it's a combination of plastic and computer chips that enables you to play a video game, an interactive video game on your home television, which is something that never really happened before.
If you're making an arcade game, it begins as a hardware project. If you need something more in the hardware, just put it in the hardware and you can use it in your game. The Atari 2600, we didn't have that luxury. The game was already in Grandma's house. It was already hooked up to her TV. And all we could do is make a different cartridge, sell that to the person, he plugs it in.
It was the thing that made video games a worldwide phenomenon. And all it is it's a box that enables you to play an interactive game on your TV. But on a cultural level, that's such a huge thing to do, because there were two things that achieved that changed the world, literally changed the world. One is it put computers in homes. At a time where IBM only had about 10,000 PCs sold altogether, Atari had millions of units installed, and every one of those was a computer in the home. The other thing it did was it created an interactive medium with television, which was always a passive medium. Before video games, people were just zombies sitting on the couch watching TV. But video games turned people into zombies jumping up and down on the couch yelling at the TV. And that was a very different experience. And I think that was huge in terms of taking people from a passive state to an active state. And we're still learning the implications of that.
Interesting. Joystick. The VCS included two controllers that seem simple today, but were all games needed at the time. A 4-way digital joystick and a single fire button. This means that Atari players used their right hands to move and their left hands to fire. the opposite of today's standard control layouts. Paddle. The launch VCS also included a pair of paddle controllers, analog devices used to give the player more fine-grained control over games in the style of Pong. The paddles use the same technology as a volume control knob, sending a gradually increasing signal to the console as they were tuned. Okay, Combat. If you find one Atari VCS game in someone's collection, it'll be Combat. That's because it was packed in with every VCS sold from 1977 to 1982. A multiplayer-only game, it had 27 different game modes, drawing inspiration from the Atari arcade games Tank and Jet Fighter. Combat, as well as the other early VCS games, was packaged in a gatefold-style box that could be opened like a book, revealing slots for the game cartridge and manual. This convenient, but more expensive design quickly gave way to more standard boxes, which were sealed shut with glue and were thus often destroyed when opened. Okay. Combat's code. Like other Atari 2600 games, Combat was a very small program, made up of just 2 kilobytes of data. To put that in perspective, just the image shown here, which contains the entire Combat program and machine code, is more than 500 kilobytes in size. Huh, that's crazy. That is actually insane. Okay, let's play Combat. Game Mode 1. For many years, every Atari VCS console game came with a copy of Combat. The 2-player military action game is based on 2 of Atari's arcade games produced under the Key Games label, 1974's Tank and 1975's Jet Fighter. In a nod to its arcade origins, Sears renamed its version of this cartridge Tank Plus. Let's see. Instruction manual. Using the controllers, okay. Be sure the joystick controller cables. Maybe joystick as shown. Right. This'll. All games end after 2 minutes 16 seconds. There's game select. The objective Tank is to hit your opponent as many times as you can before the game ends. You score 1 point for each hit. Open field. Easy maze, easy maze. Complex maze. Tank Pong games, invisible tank games. Invisible tank Pong games. Biplane controls. Up, down, left, right. Okay. TV mode. Select game variation. We got a lot of different game variations. Tank Pong. Tank Pong. Invisible Tank, Invisible Tank Pong, Biplanes. And I think these are all these are all multiplayer. Okay. Boom. Okay. So that's Tank Pong. Invisible Tank. Invisible Tank. We'll try biplanes. Okay. Controls are weird on this one. It's like up is you turn right, down you turn left. Interesting. I'm good on biplanes. Biplanes. Guided missiles, no clouds. And we'll try jets. But this is cool. It's like if you do have like multiple people, or you do have someone to play this with, I could see this like being interesting. Okay. Guided missiles. Did I do straight missiles? Feel like I did. Interesting. I'm just trying to get like the controls figured out. But anyway, I think that'll do it for this. For combat. So that's combat. Interesting game. Multiplayer game. Okay. That's combat. I could see that, yeah, for 1977, that seemed like a really, really good game. Really interesting. Could see a lot of replay value with that, playing with the two people. So yeah, I'd enjoy that.